What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Kory Willis. Hope everyone out there is doing well on a Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed championship week in college football with your friends and family, all that great stuff. So, yeah, overall, guys, I hope everyone out there is doing well today. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening in to the show. You know where to find us. We're on multiple streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms out there. So, as always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening in to the show. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It's definitely important for us. It helps us know what we're doing on the show and how we can improve the show for the future for you all. So, as always, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. As always, guys, you know who I'm with. I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, my brother?
Nothing much, man. Feeling good. We got our playoffs set. I almost got my fantasy playoffs set. By the time this show is out, we should be locked in. And we've looks like we're going to find a way in the mix in the field, like a couple of these teams did in the real college football playoff. Shout out to Clemson, but we're going to get into that. But yeah, man, feeling good, feeling like Dabo Swinney right now.
There you go. Hey, look, he just elated right now. I saw that man this morning, man. He had a big smile on his face. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we knew Dabo was going to be ready to talk his talk.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He walked in with his chest out and everything. So and you can't blame him.
Yeah, no, you can't blame him at all. It's one thing to lose three games that maybe you either had a slight chance or you could have pretty much won with flying colors. But it's another thing of going through that adversity and still winning your conference championship game. So shout out to Clemson.
Yeah. So but no, definitely feeling good, and hope everything is good your way.
Yes, sir. It is absolutely. Well, I mean, for me, pretty good. Maybe not, for the rest of the people around here in the city of Austin. I guess we can go ahead and get into it, Chris. Folks, this will be a shorter show than normal. Of course, it's just me and Chris just kind of getting our thoughts out from championship week. It was a great week, of course. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. But I guess we'll go ahead, Chris, and just kind of start out with that game down in Atlanta and pretty much where we're at now after the aftermath of that game. Georgia defeats Texas in the SEC championship. And as a result, Georgia does get the bye in heading to the Sugar Bowl now. And Texas, as a result of their loss, their second straight loss against Georgia this season, they have to take on Clemson, the ACC champion Clemson, in a showdown in Austin. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, Chris, and it's going to be on December the 21st. What were your thoughts about the game overall, Chris? And, what do you think about pretty much where the committee has Texas in taking on Clemson?
Yeah, man, that was the SEC championship game. That was a fun game. It felt like a college football playoff game. Mm-hmm. Georgia, resilient bunch. Just defense stood tall, held Texas down to field goal attempts in that first half, and I think that was the key in this ball game. Is that Texas early in the game controlled the time of possession, moving the ball with ease, but once they got inside the 30-yard line, whether it was a Texas holding or some kind of penalty, just some different things occurred to derailed the drive, and Georgia's defense stood tall and forced them to field goals. Some field goals they made, a couple they didn't make. But more importantly, they didn't put 6 on the board. They didn't get touchdowns. And that's why it was still a close game. And Georgia, Kirby Smart, being the program and team they are, found a way to win in winning time. So big ups to Georgia on the victory. It feels a lot like what Washington was to Oregon last year in a sense, man. Like Texas, I feel like they should have won that game by a couple touchdowns, honestly, Kory. But you don't make the plays. This is what happens, and you let a team like Georgia stick around, man. They're going to hang tough, and they're going to pull through in the end, and that's what happened in this one.
No, you're right, Chris. Yeah, this was this was a game that I thought Texas had figured some things out. And I won't totally knock them on everything. They did kind of figure out a little bit of a way to slow down Georgia and really attack that Georgia offense. And I mean, we saw just the injury that happened in the game for Georgia with a lot of their guys going down, especially with Carson Beck, particularly, and Gunnar Stockton coming in for him. You saw that it was an unfortunate situation, but you saw the physicality in this game was turned up to a notch. So I think Texas realized that in order to really knock Georgia off the rockers, they had to out physical them, and I think for the most part they did do that. But overall, there were some mistakes offensively for Texas that, a lot of people here in Austin would probably wish they had back. So, as a result, Georgia got the victory over Texas again. They're SEC champions. They got that bye week. What are you looking at in terms of Texas taking on Clemson? Interesting game. Cade Klubnik is coming back to his hometown, so that should make for some good television.
Man, but talk about a storyline there. Can Cade come home and lead the people who grew up watching them play high school ball? Can he leave them sad and leave Austin with a victory? An interesting matchup because Clemson's a team that they tend to rely on their running game. Mm-hmm. But we have seen some guys like Brian Wesco Jr. emerge on the perimeter at wide receiver for them. Can he continue to be big time for Klubnik? Because I think he's going to be the guy they lean on if they have a chance in this passing attack. Then you look at Texas, man. Golden is ridiculous what he can do at wide receiver for this team. It's going to be an interesting game because they got little baby Terrell out there at cornerback. The younger brother Terrell out there at cornerback for Clemson. So it's some interesting matchups in this one. And this will be, if Texas wins, their best win of the season because they have yet to be the top team. So it's going to be real interesting. I think it's a closer game than what you might would think initially between these two teams, Kory.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting ball game because both of these teams have some decent, really good defense, and yeah, it's definitely going to come down to the wire. I think in this game, it's going to be very reminiscent of what we saw last over the weekend with SMU and Clemson. So I think Texas should know that. They should come in with pretty much like what they did against Georgia, turning that intensity level to the max and, trying to throw off Cade Klubnik as much as you can and, hopefully, let the chips fall where they lay in Austin. So it's going to be an interesting game. Can't wait to watch it. Should be a fun one indeed.
Yeah. We'll see which 5-star plays like a 5-star when you got Quinn Ewers and Cade Klubnik.
Yeah,
Two guys who are highly touted coming down in their recruiting classes. So you're going to need them to be that guy in this one.
absolutely. So yeah, man. Yeah, can't wait to watch that game. Winner advances to the Peach Bowl to take on Arizona State, and shout out to Arizona State. I'm going to call it right now, Chris, just because I know we don't have as much time. I gotta give the Chief of the Week to Mr. Cam Scatterbo. the the guy was just electric in that ball game against Iowa State. And, Iowa State, Arizona State, one team had to get in. They had to play themselves into this playoff. And Arizona State really showcased a lot of that firepower that Kenny Dillingham has with that Sun Devils offense. So, shout out to Cam Scatterbo and just all his accomplishments this year. I watching him, it made me feel like, man, should he get like a nod to New York?
Hey man, he's ridiculous. He's going to find his way onto somebody's team in the NFL and do his thing. But I agree with you. I'm giving him Chief of the Week honors as well. So
Absolutely. So yeah,
3 touchdowns. It's another night. Just another day in the office for him, man. This is what Scatterbo does.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, we're definitely gonna see what happens. In terms of the winner between Clemson and Texas taking on Arizona State. So should be a fun game indeed at the Peach Bowl. Moving along, Chris, we have Tennessee taking on Ohio State, also on December the 21st. Winner advances to take on number 1 seed Oregon. Right now, the line is Ohio State 7.5. The game is going to be in Columbus. Might be a little bit too high, or maybe I'm wrong. That should be an interesting game, Chris. Just seeing Tennessee go up north to take on Ohio State should be fun.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Yeah. Boy, Ohio State still found a way to get a home playoff game, huh?
Yeah, they did.
That will be a fun game to see. Interesting matchup. Nico and Tennessee, this offense is, as much as Ohio State has had their trouble, so has Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So, what game are we going to get? Will it be a low scoring, just defensive bloodbath? Because it could very well be that. It could be a 17-14 kind of game. Or will these offenses, especially when you look at it being in that cold, the weather out there in Columbus, or will the offenses wake up? We'll see. But congratulations, Oregon. Your reward for going through the regular season undefeated and winning the Big Ten regular season championship is playing the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee. And Ohio State being the team that gave you your best battle this season earlier on in Eugene. So we'll see how this one plays out. But yeah, man, we're going to do something about this system, Kory.
Yeah, no, I'll leave the floor to you to kind of get your last thoughts just about this whole CFP ranking system, of course, because I know you've had your few choice words on what the committee did on Sunday, so I want to leave you the floor before we get out of here today.
It's it's the rules to have it. The way the rules are currently set up, I get it. But like, just because you win the conference championship game shouldn't necessarily automatically put you in discussions for a bye. Like it could give you an automatic seed place in the tournament, but not necessarily have you where we got to put one of these guys in a position to have a bye week. And because of how things are currently orchestrated, now we got a Boise State too that's got a bye, and I don't think Boise should have one. And this Oregon's getting hosed. Meanwhile, Penn State gets to play SMU, and if they beat SMU, they get to go play Boise, which seems like a much better path to a championship than having to play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee, Kory. So I don't know. This got to get fixed expeditiously.
It does, and I definitely get what you're coming from. I understand that a conference champion, a lot of that is a that's a big accomplishment for any team to win their conference. But I was listening on Sunday with what Nick Saban was saying, and he's been saying this even before he retired, where he talked about having more conference games instead of having these rinky dinky cupcake games, as they say. So and that's just to if you really want to see what who's the best teams of who. Having more teams on the schedule that's in your conference, what's wrong with that? But a lot of that does tie into money. The little schools don't want to be left out. We know a lot of these cupcake games, the ordeal with those are money. So, that's a lot of where that comes from at the end of the day. So, and yeah, you can't appease both because then it creates a whole nother can of worms with injuries and how long of a season these guys have to endure. Like, that's already a thing. That was a thing before we started this 12-team playoff. So it's a whole whirlwind of things, of course, that the committee does have to evaluate during the off season, and to ensure that they're getting the best teams in, I think, and they need to relate it to the fan base.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So, this is just this inaugural playoff, 12-team playoff. We'll see if they make some adjustments here for the near future. But based off, I get it. Based off what the criteria is now, this is how it was seeded. But I think we needed a situation like this for the committee to maybe sit back and reflect on their ways and be like, okay, we do need to change some things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I agree with you, man. But we'll definitely see what happens going forward. But yeah, we as we wrap up, Chris, SMU, like you said, taking on Penn State, winner of that game, takes on Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, so that should be a fun game. Penn State had that thriller in the Big Ten championship with Oregon, and I'm sure Drew Allar wants another shot at Oregon if he can get there. So it's gonna be a long way, but it's gonna be interesting to see. And so is SMU. You you lose to Clemson by a field goal. You really don't have much control over that. For me, seeing them get in, I was fine with. They worked hard to get to that spot. They played themselves in. Pretty much kind of like Nick Saban said on Sunday. Even though he did say he would have rather saw an SMU not even be in the 12 team trying to play themselves in. But it still worked itself out at the end.
Yeah, the big story in this is SMU getting that 11 seed spot, the at-large spot over in Alabama. And I agree with it. If SMU would have gotten, had not have made the field and Alabama was put in their place, you are ruining the ecosystem and the structure of college football by penalizing a team for losing in the conference championship game. And if we start doing that, we will have real problems and repercussions for what is the essence of college football going forward. So in this instance, I don't know if you've ever seen the Dark Knight movies, Kory, yes. The Rise of the Dark Knight, and the very beginning when they were in the plane and Bane was finna leave, and he told them, They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Well, Alabama, you're in the wreckage. You are the sacrificial lamb in this case. You had to be the one to bite the bullet and take the L for the good of college football, because we did not need you making the playoff over SMU after SMU losing a classic, a thriller of a conference championship game. If that would have been the reason they didn't make it because they lost, we would have huge problems on our hands.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you holding that L for us, Alabama.
Exactly. As what Homelander would say from the boys, you guys are the real heroes. Oh my god.
Oh, Homelander, what a menace.
Yes.
What a menace.
Agreed. Oh man. But yeah. It should be a fun game to see what happens between Penn State and SMU. Two really good teams, I think, that were just a hair short of potentially winning their conference, duking it out for a chance to play Boise State. So we'll see what happens. And then of course we got Indiana taking on Notre Dame, Chris. That game's going to be in South Bend. Not far of a trip for Indiana. They can pat themselves on the back. They don't have to travel that far. And I think that this is going to be a very good game as well. The funny thing of it is I'm I'm just kind of scared that whoever wins this game, no matter who wins it, is going to just be a bad mismatch against Georgia at this point of the season. Unless they pull, the rabbit out of the hat and really showcase something that we haven't seen all season out of both Indiana and Notre Dame. This is the Georgia sweepstakes.
No, it's a pretty solid draw for Georgia. And as far as in Indiana, Notre Dame goes, of course, two teams would end up playing each other, right? I mean, I'm very curious to see how it plays out. You expect a Notre Dame to come away with the win, but Indiana has an offense that's really been playing well for the most part this season. I'm curious to see if they can continue to do so against this Notre Dame defense. But it makes for a fun matchup. But the winner gets to play Georgia, and you give Kirby Smart some time to get guys healthy. Gunner Stockton, get Gunner some more reps, and he needs it, because he saw him miss some plays out there when he was inserted into action against Texas for Carson Beck with his elbow injury. If Gunner can continue to progress, he's going to be key, because we haven't got any word yet, but I don't know if we're going to see Carson Beck play again. If Georgia wins it all, it's probably going to be because of Gunner.
Yeah. No, I didn't even realize they had called Carson Beck on the sideline, and he was talking to someone, and he was like, "Yeah, it's bad." So he can kind of sense that, he was pretty much done for the night and potentially the rest of the season after getting that bad injury to his arm. So his throwing arm, to be exact. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what happens. As we're recording this, Kirby did mention that there was no timetable, there was no news on his return. So we're all kind of leaning on Gunner Stockton being the guy, even heading into the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, I think he will be. So we'll buckle up, Georgia fans. You think it's been a ride already? Well, we're going to add the backup being a starter now.
Oh my gosh. It's like add more rides to Disneyland more than you already.
I mean, the last few weeks have been just insane. You go from the Georgia Tech Classic that had everybody stressing, worrying about if you be in the playoff, to the actual SEC championship game, which was wild and crazy, to now it's looking like Carson Beck might not even be the QB anymore this season. So
Yeah.
It's college football, Kory.
It's college football. It's just what you got to deal with, especially in this new
Yeah.
12-team format. So more games. This is what we want. so yeah, that's pretty much the bracket. Chris, before we head out of here, any last thoughts, comments, just this about this format, about what you saw? Did the committee get this right in terms of the 12 teams? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, with how things are currently constructed, yeah. I personally would have loved to see a South Carolina make the playoff. I think there's a case that a South Carolina could be in the playoff. I think there's a case that even some of these teams like Penn State, are they ranked too high? Like, what has Penn State really done this year? Who have they really beaten as well? Is Notre Dame ranked too high? Especially coming off a loss to an NIU. I know that's their only loss, but they haven't had the craziest schedule either. But they do at least have a win against A&M that they can hang their hat on. Mm-hmm. But it's just a wide open season, and with a wide open season comes conversation that you can have regarding who all should be in it. If we're trying to, just split hairs when it comes to the last teams of the 11, 12, 13, 14 range, I think that's going to happen every year. So, if you're at the bottom, quote unquote, at the bottom, of course you're going to have some flaws and things you can question with resumes. So this just kind of comes with the territory. But I would have loved to see the South Carolina make it. But as we have chronicled this season, I think they'll have a great chance of making it next year, Kory.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the South Carolina's team, the defense is scary. We've talked about it, ad nauseum on this podcast, Chris. And I think a returning Lenore Sellers is going to be even better and even more exciting for next season. So yeah, I'm definitely with you in terms of what South Carolina has to offer for next season. I think they're going to be a really good team.
Oh yeah, people go ahead, buy stock early as soon as they allow people to bet on the college football teams that can make the playoff potentially next year. Once they release those odds for the 2025-2026 season, just go ahead and just throw a little something on South Carolina. Just trust us.
Just sprinkle it on there. Just do a little salt bait.
We ain't gotta see their schedule to know. We'll just sprinkle a little dash, a little something on them.
There you go.
I think you'll be rewarded come Christmas time next year.
Exactly.
Next year. I'm about to say it's almost 2025. We ain't there just yet.
Yeah, we got a little time to go. So we'll definitely see what happens, of course. But yeah, definitely keep that in mind, folks. Overall, so yeah, partner, it's gonna be fun. Can't wait to see what happens this bowl season. I know we'll be back for our Friday show. We'll talk about the rest of the bowls, kind of what our thoughts are about some of these teams. We got a couple of interesting games coming up during bowl season, so it should be a fun bowl season all around, even with the teams outside of the playoffs. We should have some very exciting games indeed. But yeah, Chris, great to do this show with you, brother. I know, folks, this is This isn't like our usual episode, where we're really delving deep, of course. But we're at the pretty much at the end of the season. We're gonna have some awards given out, so those will be some things that Chris and I will discuss, along with transfer portal news. As you guys are going to be hearing this, officially the transfer portal will open. It has opened already, so apologies from last week. I thought it was Friday, but it is actually December the 9th. So definitely kind of get updates with that to see where your favorite teams are heading into the transfer portal, what moves they're making. So, but yeah, Chris, always great to chop it up with you, brother. And we're here. We've been talking about the college football playoffs all season and who's the best teams, and we're finally gonna be seeing who's the best of the best coming up this month.
Yes, sir. This is just the moment we've all been looking forward to, crowning a champion, and also, man, we're gonna get some fun bowl games too. I mean, this is bowl season. We don't just care about the playoff here, Kory. We love college football, so we're gonna get some great matchups, some great games, and it's just gonna be a good time here as we close out the year.
Exactly. So yeah, man, can't wait. Well, Chris, I'm about to, get you out of here. Of course, I know you got nice sweet dessert, coming up for you.
And we got a little sweet potato pie that's calling my name.
There you go. Enjoy that. Definitely enjoy that. But before you do, good sir, outros. Let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Chris_Bolton_12 and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_ holla at your boy.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely follow Chris on there. He's always willing to chop it up with you good folks. Talking about some of the best sports out there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. And you can find me on X at Listen to KSW. All one handle. I'm on there talking college football, professional wrestling, whole nine. So yeah, definitely follow me on there. But yeah, guys, like I said, we'll be back hopefully on Friday to kind of talk about transfer portal news, talk about the rest of bowl season, and yeah, me and Chris will definitely kind of delve a little bit deeper into that. But other than that, folks, we appreciate you guys listening in to the show. Like I said, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our many platforms that we're on. It's definitely important for us. It helps us know what we're doing and how we're improving the show for you all. So definitely follow us on there. But until next time, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later. Peace.